You are not touching another horse today. If you black out in my arena again and a child gets hurt, I will have you dragged off this property myself, my brother Cole said into the microphone. The whistle screamed a second later. Every lesson horse in my indoor ring lifted its head at once. Two little girls on chestnut ponies stiffened in their saddles. Parents along the rail turned toward me. The sponsor banner hanging over the judges' stand fluttered in the warm draft from the ceiling fans, bright white canvas with gold letters that read Northfield Youth Equestrian Initiative. My mother, Denise Barrett, stepped out of the tack room carrying my clipboard like it already belonged to her. Hand over your barn keys, Lena, she said. We are done pretending this is safe. It would have been easier if they had done it in private. That was the part my family never understood about me. Private pain could still shake me. Public humiliation only made me colder. So I looked past my mother, past my brother, past the rows of parents and students and the foundation representatives standing by the coffee table, and I glanced at the small green and red icons on my phone screen. The north barn was in restricted mode. The medication room was in restricted mode. The west service gate was in restricted mode. The trap had already begun. I slipped my phone back into my jacket pocket and said the one thing they did not expect. Fine. Run it. A few parents gasped. Cole smiled so fast it looked like hunger. He had wanted this for months. 2 years earlier, I had been thrown from a gray warmblood named Atlas during a schooling session after a student dropped a steel mounting block behind us. Atlas jumped sideways. I twisted in the fall, hit my head on the arena rail, and woke up in a trauma bay with bright lights in my eyes and a nurse asking me my name twice because she did not like how long it took me to answer. Recovery was not cinematic. It was ugly and slow. I got headaches. My balance went strange when I turned too fast. I spent months learning how to trust my own body again. I finished every therapy session. I passed every neurological exam. I took every test the insurance company asked for. I earned my medical clearance, my coaching clearance, and my instructor certification renewal the hard way, one humiliating little victory at a time. My father had stood by me through all of it. After he died last winter, my mother and my younger brother started using the worst months of my life like a wrench they could turn whenever they wanted. Leverage. They never said unstable at first. At first it was gentler than that. They said I needed more rest. They said parents were nervous. They said maybe Cole should handle the more visible training sessions until people felt confident again. They said it with soft faces and careful voices while they moved more office work into his hands and more scheduling into his laptop and more parent communication through my mother. Then Northfield called. Northfield was not just another sponsor. Their foundation funded scholarship writers, therapeutic riding programs, facility upgrades, and competition travel for barns they considered safe enough to represent youth training in public exhibitions. If we landed their grant, Stone Creek Equestrian would be secure for years. New footing. New ventilation. Scholarships for 3 working students. Repairs to the old south roof my father had been patching for too long. Cole became a different person the minute that opportunity showed up. He started dressing like he was already the face of the place. Crisp shirts, boots polished for photos, little speeches in the mirror. He wanted the center ring, the foundation handshake, the magazine photo, the title of director written under his name. My mother wanted it even more. She had never forgiven the business for belonging to horsework instead of appearances. She wanted galas, not feed bills. Sponsor dinners, not muck boots. If Cole became the public director, she could finally turn the barn into the kind of polished family brand she thought looked richer than we were. I knew something had shifted the first time I found Vesper's training log changed without my approval. Vesper was our best exhibition mare, a dark bay with perfect uphill movement and nerves like live wire under silk. She could look magnificent under a quiet rider. Under the wrong rider, she could read 1 inch of tension and turn it into a storm. I had placed her on a limited work schedule after she came out of a minor strain, nothing dramatic, just careful management. When I checked the digital health board one morning, that caution note was gone. Cole blamed a sync error. 2 days later, a prescription sedative I kept logged for veterinary use came up short. My mother blamed inventory confusion. Then I found a message draft on the parent portal under my mother's account. It had never been sent. It said the words ongoing medical concerns and intermittent episodes. That was when I stopped hoping this was insecurity and started preparing for sabotage. Stone Creek used a stable management system most small barns thought was excessive. My father had installed it after a border lawsuit years ago. Every performance horse wore a smart band on its halter when stabled or moving between approved zones. Stall doors read the bands automatically. Manual overrides required a staff badge. Medication, storage, logged entries. Schedule changes, health record edits, turnout changes, and manual door releases all time-stamped the user account tied to the action. Parents liked it because it made us look organized. Insurance liked it because it proved chain of custody and safety compliance. I liked it because, unlike people, systems usually told the truth. Only one role had full admin authority over restricted access and safety release functions. Mine. Not because I grabbed it, but because Northfield had requested our credential list during initial review and the insurer had already named the safety director on file. That name was Lena Barrett, the original certificate holder, the senior trainer, the person who had completed the additional liability coursework after my accident because I had something to prove and no ego left to protect. So when I realized my family was getting ready to turn my old concussion into a weapon, I did not scream. I did not confront them. I tightened every part of the system they thought they understood and waited for them to need something badly enough to break it in public. The open house gave me exactly what I needed. Northfield was sending 2 representatives. We had parents touring the lesson program, scholarship applicants observing, and a small exhibition planned in the indoor ring because the weather looked unstable. Vesper was supposed to stay off the floor. I had already documented that in her file. Cole wanted her anyway because she was the horse that sold the dream fastest. The night before the event, I set the north barn, the medication room, and the west service gate to restricted safety mode, starting at late morning. I documented the reason in the internal notes as pending audit on health record discrepancies. That was not sabotage. That was a valid safety hold, under our own policy manual. Releasing it properly required the safety director's approval. My mother did not know the hold existed. Cole definitely did not know. What they knew was that if they could get me in front of parents and sponsors and make me look dangerous, emotional, and impossible, they could crown him in one move. So when he blew that whistle in front of everyone and accused me of blacking out in the ring, I knew they had finally picked a stage too big to hide on. One of the Northfield reps, a woman in a navy jacket named Dana Pierce, stepped closer to the rail. "What is going on here?" she asked. Before I could answer, my mother did. "We have been managing a difficult situation with Grace," she said, with the exact expression she used at funerals. "Lena had a serious head injury. We prayed she would recover fully. Unfortunately, there have been concerns. We cannot take chances with children in the saddle." That careful murmur moved through the parents exactly the way she wanted. Not panic. Suspicion. Suspicion was worse. Panic passed. Suspicion lingered. Cole lifted the microphone again. "She had an episode in the TAC room last month," he said. "I made the decision to protect our riders. Effective now, I am taking over the demonstration and all high-risk training duties." He said episode because it sounded softer than lie and crueler than faint. I had not blacked out in that TAC room. I had bent down too fast after skipping breakfast, steadied myself against a saddle rack, and stood back up before anyone saw me, except Cole, who saw everything that might one day serve him. One of my oldest lesson parents, Mrs. Klein, looked sick. "Lena, is that true?" she asked. I looked at her, then at her daughter, then at the little scholarship riders standing by the arena gate in borrowed show jackets and polished helmets waiting for their chance to ride in front of sponsors who might change their year. My family had chosen children as cover. That was low even for them. So I said no. But go ahead and watch what happens when people who lie about safety are asked to prove they care about it. Cole laughed. My mother smiled at the parents like I had just confirmed everything. I unclipped my radio, set it on the mounting block, and walked out of the ring. I could feel their relief behind me. They thought I was retreating. They thought shame had done what they wanted. Instead, I went to the observation corridor behind the glass wall that ran above the north aisle. From there, I could see the indoor ring, the cross ties, and most of the upper barn through the security feed on the hallway monitor. More importantly, I could see my phone screen clearly. It took less than 3 minutes for the first problem to hit them. Cole barked at the barn assistant to bring Vesper out for the demonstration. The girl ran toward the north barn, then stopped when the stall access panel flashed red. Restricted mode. Cole tried his badge. Red. He swore loudly enough that 2 parents turned. My mother hurried over. I watched her mouth tighten. This was not part of their plan. They had options in that moment. They could have postponed the demonstration. They could have told Northfield that a safety hold had triggered and rescheduled once records were reviewed. They could have chosen honesty and inconvenience. Instead, they chose visibility over safety exactly as I knew they would. Cole took the mechanical override key from the emergency box and opened the north service door by hand. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Manual override north barn service door user badge Cole Barrett. Good. He disappeared into the aisle. A minute later, he emerged leading Maple, one of our quiet lesson mares, out by the cheek piece. That made no sense. Maple was not part of the exhibition, and she was wearing Vesper's blue smartband on her halter. I felt the first real pulse of adrenaline, then sharp and clean. There it is, I thought. Cole had just done the thing he would later swear he had never done. He had swapped the band to make the system think the wrong horse was moving through the wrong zone. Another alert lit up my phone. Band reassigned in North Barn Vesper to Maple manual scan mismatch. Then came the health record alert. User edit Denise Barrett Vesper status limited work changed to cleared for demonstration. My mother did not even have the nerve to use Cole's login. She used her own. I should have felt vindicated. Mostly I felt tired. This was my family. These were not strangers in a scam ring. These were the people who ate at my table and looked at my father's photograph in the office every day while turning his barn into a lie factory. Then the camera feed gave me the last piece. Cole took Vesper out of stall 12, glanced once over his shoulder, and pulled a small syringe from his jacket. He slid into the stall, put a hand on her neck, and injected her fast. Vesper tossed her head once, pinned an ear, then went still, in that wrong, unnatural way good horse people can spot from across a parking lot. My jaw locked so hard it hurt. He was not a veterinarian. He was not authorized to administer prescription sedatives. He was about to put a medicated exhibition horse into a public safety demonstration and certify the ring fit for children after accusing me of being the danger. That was the moment my anger stopped being personal. It became professional. Dana Pierce was in the arena now, looking from the red access panel to Cole and back again. "Is there a system problem?" she asked. "No problem," Cole said too quickly. "Just a minor tech delay. We have it handled." That was true, in the worst possible way. They had handled it. They had handled it right into a documented trail. I walked back into the ring before he could start the demonstration. My mother stiffened the second she saw me. "I told you to stay out of the barn," she said. "You do not get to say that in my arena," I said. Dana looked between us. "Miss Barrett," she said, "I need clarity before we continue. Who is the authorized safety signatory for this exhibition?" Cole lifted a folder from the judge's table. "I am taking over those duties today," he said. "We already prepared the release paperwork." I held out my hand. "May I see it?" He hesitated for half a second, which was enough. Dana noticed. He gave me the folder anyway because smug people always think a bluff can survive one more second. The form was our standard demonstration release with a new signature block typed under it. Director Cole Barrett. No certificate number. No insurer reference. No Northfield addendum. Just a title he wanted so badly he had decided typing it might make it real. I handed the paper to Dana. "This is not valid," I said. "Northfield required the original credential holder to sign all live exhibition safety releases. That is me. Your own pre-review packet names me. Our insurer names me. Our vendor portal names me. He cannot assume that authority because he blew a whistle into a microphone." My mother stepped closer. "You had an episode," she snapped. "Stop making this ugly." I reached into my satchel and pulled out the folder I had carried with me all morning. My latest neurological clearance. My riding clearance. My coaching clearance. Signed by my neurologist, my rehabilitation specialist, and the insurer's occupational reviewer. All current. All complete. All stating the same thing. Cleared for unrestricted training and instruction. I laid the copies on the judge's table one by one. "I have been fully cleared for months," I said. They knew that. They are not concerned about my health. They are concerned that I am the only person here who can legally sign off on this ring. The silence that followed was different from the first one. The first silence had tasted like gossip. This one tasted like shifting ground. Cole recovered fast, I will give him that. "This is exactly why we had to step in," he said. "She gets obsessive. She turns everything into paperwork." "We are trying to run an event." "Then let us talk about paperwork," I said. I pulled the arena display remote from my pocket. We used the wall screen during clinics for playback and writer notes. Today it lit up with the stable management dashboard. My mother actually flinched. That gave me more satisfaction than I expected. I pointed to the first line. At 11:41 this morning, the North Barn service door was manually overridden by badge assigned to Cole Barrett after restricted safety mode denied standard access. I tapped again. At 11:46, Vesper's smart band was removed and registered on Maple. That created a live mismatch between the horse in stall 12 and the band leaving the aisle. The system flagged it automatically. Another tap. At 11:48, Denise Barrett changed Vesper's health record from limited work to cleared for demonstration, and then the camera feed filled the screen. There was Cole in stall 12, looking over his shoulder, pulling the syringe, injecting Vesper in the neck. Someone behind me whispered, "Oh my God." I did not turn around. I did not need to. Good horse people know what they are seeing. Dana Pierce stared at the screen. "What was in that syringe?" she asked. I answered before Cole could. "A prescription sedative from our medication room inventory. The same medication I documented missing this week. Cole is not authorized to administer it." Vesper was already flagged out of the exhibition. He overrode the stall, swapped the band, altered the health file, and medicated the horse anyway because he needed the mare calm enough to perform in front of you. Cole lunged toward the screen remote. I stepped back, and at the same second, our consulting veterinarian, Dr. Harris, who had arrived 10 minutes earlier for the scholarship assessment, walked in from the side door and said, "Do not touch anything." He was looking at Vesper. Even from the gate, he could see the glassy quiet in her eye. He moved straight to the mare, checked her gums, her pulse, then looked up at Cole with the kind of disgust only a careful professional can make look surgical. "She is sedated," he said, improperly from the look of her response. "No one mounts this horse today." Mrs. Klein pulled her daughter a full step back from the rail. Another parent took out his phone. "My mother tried one last pivot. This is being twisted," she said. "Lena has always been dramatic. Cole was trying to manage a difficult horse under pressure because Lena abandoned the program." I faced Dana. "No," I said. I stepped back after they publicly accused me of being medically unsafe, because I knew the only way they would prove who they were was if I let them believe the ring was theirs for 10 minutes. Then I faced the parents. "I am sorry you had to see this at all. But every child here deserved to know which adult in this building was actually willing to put a medicated horse into a demonstration after pretending safety was the reason they pushed me out. No one defended them. That was the part my mother never anticipated. She thought if she controlled the first story, she controlled the room forever. But rooms change when evidence enters them. Dana picked up the invalid release form and set it down like it might stain her hand. Northfield will not continue this review under current management, she said. If Stone Creek is to remain under consideration at all, we will require written confirmation of operational control, veterinary compliance, and safety oversight from Miss Barrett directly. Not from the family. From me. Cole went pale in a way I had not seen since he was 16 and got caught lying about a truck he was not licensed to drive. You cannot do this over one misunderstanding, he said. Dr. Harris gave him a look that turned misunderstanding into something much uglier. This is not one misunderstanding, he said. This is altered medical documentation, unauthorized medication administration, and deliberate misrepresentation during a live youth event. Then he looked at me. Do you want me to make the board report? Yes, I said. Do you want me to notify the state veterinary office and the insurer? Yes, I said again. My mother made a sound like a swallowed scream. You would destroy your own family over a horse, she said. I finally looked at her fully. No, I said. I would remove my family from a barn they were willing to destroy for attention. That was when my attorney walked in. He had been in the office with the property file and employment packets because I had asked him to attend quietly in case the morning turned exactly the way I feared. He did not bring deputies or some dramatic parade. He brought paper, which in my life had always been more dangerous than shouting. He handed me 2 envelopes. Under the operating agreement, my father signed after the system overhaul, any staff member who falsifies equine medical records or safety certifications is terminated immediately and loses on-site privileges. Denise Cole, your employment with Stone Creek is effective, terminated as of now. You are to leave the restricted training areas immediately and surrender staff access devices. Cole stared at him. You knew she planned this, he said. I answered for my lawyer. No, I said. I knew you would choose yourself over the barn the second you were given a public audience. There is a difference. My mother did not leave gracefully. People like her rarely do. She hissed that I was sick. She hissed that I had baited them. She hissed that my father had ruined the family by always choosing me over appearances. That last part was the closest she had come to honesty all year. Cole pulled off his badge lanyard and threw it onto the dirt. The little metal clip bounced once near my boot. For 1 second I saw the boy who used to beg me to let him braid ribbons into school pony manes when we were kids before envy calcified him into this sharper thing. Then the second passed, and all I saw was a man who had just drugged a horse to win a room. He and my mother walked out through the side aisle with every parent watching. No one stopped them. No one followed. The indoor ring stayed painfully quiet after the door shut behind them. Then Dana Pierce turned to me and said, If you are still willing, we would like to continue our facility review after Dr. Harris clears the environment. No live demonstration. Just the review. I nodded once. We can do that, I said. Dr. Harris secured Vesper, documented her condition, and sealed the medication cabinet for review. The parents stayed longer than I expected. Some left, which I understood. Some stayed because they had seen enough barns to know what integrity looked like when it was exhausted but standing. Mrs. Klein came over with her daughter. I should have asked you directly sooner, she said. I gave her a tired smile. You did now, I said. That counts. Her daughter, still in her showcoat, looked up at me and asked the question that mattered more than grants or sponsors or my mother's lies. Are you okay to teach us? I looked at the ring my father built at the hoof prints in the footing at the bright screen, still glowing with the evidence that had just cut my family clean out of the center of my life. Then I looked back at her and said the truest thing I had said all day. Yes, I am. A month later, Northfield signed the grant with my name on the operational documents and a new compliance writer I helped draft myself. Dr. Harris remained our consulting veterinarian. We expanded scholarship lessons instead of cutting them. I replaced every badge, every password, every office key, and every lie that had been living in my barn, disguised as help. My mother told people I had chosen a horse over blood. That was not true. I had chosen children over vanity, safety over performance, truth over family theater. And on the first Saturday of the new season, when the scholarship riders lined up by the ring in clean jackets and bright faces, I blew the silver whistle once to start the lesson. Not to stop it, not to shame anyone, just to begin. And this time the whole barn listened to the right voice.